This audio program by Radio AI is generated using artificial intelligence technologies. The voices you hear in this program are synthetic, and the thoughts they express are shaped through artificial intelligence-driven reasoning and iterative refinement.
Welcome to Radio AI and to another deep dive. Today we're trying to unravel something pretty big, this whole question of fashion. Is it genuinely important in society, or is it, just surface stuff, superficial?
Oh, it's definitely far from superficial. I mean, fashion's significance really comes from this whole web of social, cultural, economic factors, technology too, even psychology. Its actual meaning is, well, it's always shifting, right? Being negotiated depending on the context.
Okay, so it's not just about the fabric we wear. How does it actually work in our lives then, beyond just, looking presentable or stylish?
Well, think of it almost like a nonverbal language. We use our clothes, our style to signal things, who we are, maybe what group we belong to, or sometimes even to push back, to show dissent. It's like a constant, quiet conversation.
A conversation. I like that.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is how different that conversation can be. Like, in some collectivist societies, traditional dress isn't really about my individual choice. It's more about reaffirming shared values, almost like a ritual. It's communal.
Right. But then some people would probably argue fashion isn't always that big a deal. Yeah. That maybe we overstate its importance sometimes.
That's a fair point. And it's true. In some communities, maybe think about groups with really strong aesthetic traditions or places where self-expression just happens differently. Fashions pull on identity. Your feelings might be, minimal, or it follows completely different rules. It just reminds us we need to be careful, sensitive to all that cultural and historical diversity. Can't make sweeping statements.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting for me. How does this play out differently in, say, very individualistic societies versus more collectivist ones?
Right, great question. Imagine in a highly individualistic place, you might see a youth subculture use really bold, maybe shocking styles to signal rebellion, right? And often those styles, they start on the edges and then kind of diffuse into the mainstream. And that's often driven by, this mix of wanting to belong and maybe a fear of being left out, that's social anxiety.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
But contrast that with a more collectivist setting. Changes in how people dress, they tend to happen much more slowly. It might be, elders or community leaders who sort of negotiate adaptations together. The whole feeling behind it is more about social harmony, less about, look at me.
So who gets to decide which fashions actually, win out? There's definitely power involved, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. Power is key. Groups that hold dominance, maybe through cultural influence or just economic clout, they can often appropriate styles from marginalized groups or even suppress them. It's that idea of cultural hegemony, basically.
Right, appropriation. We hear that term a lot.
Yeah, and think about it. When styles that were maybe symbols of resistance get picked up by the mainstream, by commercial interests, it can offer some kind of recognition, sure, but it often ends up stripping away the original meaning, These shifts, they're rarely neutral. There are always consequences.
And now.
Yeah.
Technology. That's just throwing a whole new layer of complexity onto everything, hasn't it?
Yeah.
How does that change this language of clothes?
It changes it profoundly. I mean, in digital spaces, virtual worlds, how you present yourself isn't tied to physical clothes anymore, right? You can be anything, but, and this is a big but, it's heavily influenced by algorithms. And surveillance, too, potentially. New kinds of hierarchies emerge online.
Algorithmic influence, meaning the platforms decide what's cool.
To an extent, yes. Algorithms can amplify certain looks, certain trends, and suppress others. They can literally steer culture. And then there's the whole digital divide. Who even gets to participate in these virtual fashion spaces? Who has access? It brings up serious ethical questions about equity, privacy, and those anxieties about belonging or authenticity. They can get dialed way up online.
Yeah, you hear people talking about solutions like community-led trends or maybe self-regulation, but those seem hard to implement effectively.
They do. And let's not forget the economics. Fashion is a huge global industry. Drives production, consumption, innovation. But think about the shift. Old model, seasonal turnover, lots of waste. Now, digital economies mean fast fashion can become almost instant fashion.
Instant fashion,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, things appear online, trends explode overnight, which creates new ways for people to participate, sure, but also potentially new forms of exclusion. And the environmental costs, they're still massive, maybe even worse with instant fashion. Plus those affective costs, the feeling of dissatisfaction, the anxiety, maybe alienation. They don't go away. The source just shifts.
So wrapping this up, it feels like the importance of fashion isn't some fixed thing. It's not universal. It's not absolute. It's really deeply tangled up with our identity, the economy, culture, definitely technology now, and our own psychology.
Exactly. What's fascinating here, I think, is how fashion becomes this focal point. It's where our personal emotional experience of who we are, individually and in groups, directly meets these big structural forces like production, how things are represented, and, as we discussed, power. And that really raises an important question for all of us, doesn't it? About the need for, well, ongoing reflection. We need to keep thinking about what fashion does, its ethical challenges, and maybe how we could collectively adapt as it keeps changing.
It definitely makes you think about your own relationship with clothes, with style. What are you actually saying when you get dressed in the morning? Especially this landscape we've been talking about. What messages are going out? Well, thank you for joining us on Radio AI for this deep dive today. We genuinely appreciate you spending your time with us and always enjoy hearing your thoughts or reflections in the comments section. Hope to have you with us again on Radio AI. Until next time.